Don't be a noob and maximize your sliders all the way to one side like I did around launch. Once you learn how to read this graph, you can actually tune to get your desired buff without the attached downside. There's even some attachments that let you get double buffs for a stat and is essentially like equipping a 6th or 7th attachment. I'm going to teach you the do's and don'ts in this video, how to read breakpoints on the weapon tuning graph, and all the best practices so you can get the most out of your weapons in multiplayer and Warzone. Now, the key with weapon tuning is to adjust these sliders until you hit a breakpoint. These sliders are actually non-linear, so you'll notice as you slide back and forth, there will be a significant jump in the stat that you are adjusting. That jump is the breakpoint you need to look out for. That jump is the point where you'll see an actual difference with a majority of the stats in this game. Take the shark fin grip attachment for example. This attachment only affects aiming idle stability and has no downside, so it's a perfect attachment for demonstration. Aim down sight on the HBR with and without the shark fin is 433 milliseconds. When I adjust the tuning slider towards aim down sight, you'll see it jump around negative 0.18 ounces. So if I park it right there and time my aim down sight speed, it is now 417 milliseconds as expected. If I tune below that breakpoint and park it around 0.05, the aim down sight reverts back to 433 milliseconds. On the shark fin, there isn't another breakpoint that will increase your aim down sight speed, so tuning any higher than 0.18 is pointless and will only amplify the drawbacks. The same goes for the other way. If I tune towards recoil steadiness, you'll see there's an aim down sight breakpoint at 0.26 ounces, and this is where aim down sights is slowed down to 450 milliseconds. That's just the beginning. Let me show you how you can take tuning single attachments one step further by finding sweet spots, which will let you get your desired buff without any of the downsides. You may have noticed that when you're sliding a tuner, the affected stats will move simultaneously. In some cases, one stat will hit a breakpoint before the other does, and these are the sweet spots that you want to look out for. This attachment setup has an aim down sight time of 550 milliseconds, and it will kill that 30-meter target in the firing range with 4 upper chest shots. All we're going to tune is this barrel, which will adjust aim down sight speed and your damage range. When I slide this tuner back and forth, I'm noticing the aim down sight breakpoint seems to be around negative 0.15 inches, and the damage range breakpoint isn't until negative 0.23 inches. So if I tune this all the way to negative 0.24, I can expect my aim down sight speed to be faster, but my damage range will be worse. And sure enough, my aim down sight speed is now 533 milliseconds, and it now takes 5 upper chest shots to kill that target. If this graph is to be trusted, I can slide my tuner before the damage range breakpoint and park it at negative 0.17 inches. Here, I should have the faster aim down sight time without harming my damage range. Now my aim down sight stays faster at 533 milliseconds, and I retain that 4 upper chest shot kill. This is why you want to avoid sliding tuners all the way in one direction. It's a surefire way to maximize on the drawbacks and to make your weapon worse. On the other hand, if you slide too little, you won't be hitting those breakpoints and making changes. This video isn't over yet. I'm going to share everything you need to know about tuning multiple attachments. I just want to take a moment to ask if you've liked this video so far. Please don't forget to click the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and every bit of support is greatly appreciated. Another important thing to be aware of is that there are diminishing returns when stacking attachment tunings. Most stats will benefit from only one tuning. Any tuning beyond that won't make a difference until you have 4 tunings stacked for one particular stat, which you'll see when we get to multiple attachments in about 30 seconds. You also should know that attachments will have more impact on your weapon than tuning ever will. So in some cases, if you're unable to tune a specific stat on 4 attachments, you're better off just finding a different attachment to make that change. I have 3 examples using multiple attachments that will demonstrate all of these. This 5 attachment loadout for the HDR without tuning will aim down sights in 367 milliseconds. That's 4 frames faster than the default aim down sight speed at 60 FPS. I have 4 aim down sight attachments on. I'm getting 4 frames faster. The math checks out. Tuning the grip to its breakpoint will get me 1 frame faster at 350 milliseconds as expected, but if I tune the comb to its breakpoint, I see no change. If I tune the stock to its breakpoint, I'm also seeing no change. It's not until I tune that 4th attachment where we'll see the aim down sight speed increase to 333 milliseconds. If I try to tune the shark fin to its breakpoint after that, there's no additional change, so it's kind of a redundant attachment. So we're going to change that in just a minute here. I want to show you first that because we're hitting the sweet spot with most of these tunings, we're not seeing much change in my recoil pattern, which is the drawback for tuning for aim down sights on most of these attachments. Compare that to this recoil pattern, which has all these sliders tuned to the max, and we're hitting those recoil breakpoints. You can see the curve after the first few shots is more severe, and the side-to-side recoil gets really bouncy towards the top half. So if you didn't take my word before, these sweet spots are definitely a thing, and you can get the buff without the nerf. Now going back to this attachment loadout, this shark fin attachment is pretty useless, knowing that my goal is to maximize aim down sight speed as fast as possible. So we're going to replace the shark fin with the laser attachment, and all my aim down sight speeds should be 1 frame faster. And that checks out. My 4 tuning aim down sight time is now the fastest possible at 317 milliseconds with minimal drawbacks. Last example here is with double breakpoint. This is another thing you should look out for even more flexibility. This particular setup on screen has 4 attachments, but I can get a faster aim down sight speed by tuning only 3 of them. All these attachments don't affect my aim down sight speed whatsoever, so I have the default speed for the HCR. We get an improvement tuning just the shark fin as expected, and if we tune all 4 to the breakpoints, we'll see another improvement to 400 milliseconds. But watch this. If I slide the echo line muzzle towards the end, you'll see it jump 1 more time, which means this has a 2nd breakpoint. So I have 5 breakpoints in total now. We only need 4 to make a difference. So if I remove the tuning on the shark fin underbarrel, I'm still hitting 4 breakpoints with that echo line muzzle, and I still have the faster 400 millisecond aim down sight time with just 3 attachments tuned. So I'm really loving weapon tuning now that I better understand it. You can keep it basic and tune once for that extra boost. You can tune multiple different stats to get several little boosts on your gun, or you can go all in and maximize one particular stat that's really important, like aim down sight speed on SMGs or snipers. Shout out to True Game Data for being the first to make a breakthrough on this. Please don't forget to click like on this video, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.